am so excited to talk about my 7th most anticipated film of 2021, and if you're just as excited as I am, then let's head on over to the review. Welcome back, film fans. This is Let's Be Real with Brad. Today on the channel, I want to talk about the brand new biographical crime drama film called House of Gucci. House of Gucci is directed by Ridley Scott and is based off a 2001 book of the same name. The film stars Lady Gaga, Adam Driver, Jared Leto, Jeremy Irons, Salma Hayek, and Al Pacino. The film is about Patricia Reggiani, an outsider from humble beginnings, who marries into the Gucci family. Her unbridled ambition begins to unravel their legacy and triggers a reckless spiral of betrayal, decadence, and revenge. So I was so excited to be able to check out this movie in an early advance screening a whole week early before the movie came out, because there have been no reviews publicly released for this film, so I had no bias, no intentions of what this movie was going to be. So this review is going to be my pure thoughts, and that is so exciting to me. So now that I was able to check out this film, I have to say that House of Gucci is a very disappointing movie, but that doesn't mean that this is a bad movie by any means. It just means that, well, I wish this movie was a lot better than it was. It has everything for this movie to be great. An all-star cast, a pretty good director, and a story that is so fascinating and interesting that this movie should have been so great as it was, and it just doesn't do it for me. So let's just dive into my positives first, and I'm going to start with the performances. I think I can say that the majority of the people who bought a ticket for this movie was just for the actors themselves, considering that all the marketing for this movie just has all the actors on the poster in the trailers, because that's what this movie is sold off of, and I think the performances in this movie are fantastic. Lady Gaga should get another Oscar nomination because she was terrific in this role. She carries this movie so well, and I think she was able to give the best performance of the entire film. Adam Driver is excellent as always, as he is one of my favorite actors working today, as I will literally see any movie he is in, and I just hope he gets an Oscar nomination for one of the roles that he was in, like Annette, The Last Duel, or House of Gucci, because he was terrific this year and absolutely deserves something. Jared Leto gave a very interesting performance in this movie because his character doesn't feel like he belongs in this movie, because he is a little bit too over the top for this role. But I gotta give Jared Leto credit because he is really great in this movie. I don't know how accurate he is to the original person that he is playing, and that is going to get a lot of controversy, but I'm going to be honest with you, Jared Leto went away, as he is a very iconic actor at this point, and he became this character. The next positive I have with this movie is the costume design. This should be nominated at the Academy Awards for Best Costume Design because it is terrific in this movie. Everyone looks rich, luxurious, and they just look like they're all made of money. Another positive I have with the film is the dialogue. I actually enjoyed quite a bit of the dialogue in this movie, with the banter between the characters and the chemistry they all have together. I also found this movie to be pretty funny in a good part of this movie, and I enjoyed the camaraderie that they have. And my last positive with this movie is the soundtrack. I really enjoy all the songs in this movie, as I felt like they were all perfectly placed. I thought it added a boost of energy that this movie needed, and it just felt more enjoyable with all these great songs that were put into this soundtrack. Now, let's dive into my many negatives I do have with this movie, starting with my most disappointing aspect yet, which is that this is a very paint-by-numbers movie. I felt like that the story just did a summary of what this story was actually about, and I get it. You can't put everything in a 2-hour 37 movie, but I felt like I was watching a dramatized History Channel movie that just didn't feel all that interesting to go through. I understand this is based off of a true story, and many of the events in this movie did actually happen, but the way that this movie is presented to the audience isn't all that interesting, and it just feels like it's just going through the motions. Speaking of the presentation, I felt like this movie was so dull and uninteresting throughout. I didn't find any of the shots in this movie to be quite memorable or all that interesting. It just felt like it was a very competent, somewhat decent, well-made film, but that's just about it. My next negative with this movie is the third act. I found the third act of this movie to be very choppy, confusing, and just smushed all together to just finish the movie because it just felt like we just ran through. This is so disappointing because this seems like the most pivotal part of the whole movie that everyone knows about, and it just expects you as the audience to be like, hey, you already know about this already, so why would we even dive into it? And there's a good portion of this audience that might not know what actually happened. It just skims right through it. It doesn't even matter what's going on. Overall, guys, House of Gucci is a good movie that I did enjoy for the most part, with fantastic performances, really good dialogue, and there's some really entertaining scenes in this movie, but unfortunately I found it very disappointing considering that I had very high expectations for it, and it should have been one of the best films of the year. I think that you guys have to lower your expectations for this movie, and you might enjoy it a lot more than me. I'm going to be giving House of Gucci a strong 6 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for checking out my review, and I want to know down below in the comment section, what are your top 5 most anticipated films left of the year of 2021? I can't wait to hear about it. But before you check out this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like if you want to, and ring that notification bell so I can see you all in the following review.